to another episode of the And Now I Know podcast. I'm your host, 32 Flavazz, and I'm here to inspire you to live life at your fullest potential. Now, if you're looking for a podcast that's going to inspire you to chase your dreams, motivate you to get up each day, and help you navigate life just a little bit better, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're checking me out on YouTube. And if you're listening on any streaming platform, please be sure to hit that follow button. And if you're checking me out on any social media accounts, be sure to search at And Now I Know podcast. Now, y'all, without further ado, we just got to get right to it. This is the introduction episode, and I can't even believe that I'm here right now. Like, honestly, this seems like such a dream. This seems like answered prayers. Not it seems like, I know it is an answered prayer. So I'm just so excited to just be living out my purpose right now. I don't know if you listening or watching and you know the feeling of really diving into your purpose. Man, it is such a good feeling. And I feel like I'm here now, I'm present, and I'm just so ready to see where this podcast takes me. So when I was thinking about an introduction, I'm like, man, I could do this in so many different ways. At first, I was like, should I just have a guest first? Should I just, I don't know, talk about a little bit of my background, how I was raised, how I was brought up. Like, I was thinking, what is the most interesting, or what should I do, you know? So I really prayed about it, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, y'all. Like, this really been in the vault, in the chamber, and here we are releasing it. But like I said, I was just thinking, like, how can I start this? And to be honest, y'all, I kept thinking and praying on it. And all I kept thinking about was tell your story, tell your story, tell your story. Because if you've been following me on social media for a while, I'm pretty private, okay? I don't put too much of, what I may be experiencing, what I'm going through, or what I'm dealing with on socials. I feel like your social media platform, or at least for me, is your brand. It's a representation of you, and I ain't gonna lie, in the past, I might have been clowning on the internet sometimes. But for the most part, I always cared about my reputation and how I carry myself. So to be sharing this with y'all, I truly feel vulnerable, but I'm excited because vulnerability is good. So let's take it back. Years ago, I graduated high school. I decided to go to St. Charles Community College. Now, for those of you who are not from St. Louis, I am born and raised in St. Louis, right? So if you're from St. Louis, I went to St. Charles Community College. There, I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't really know what I want to go to school for. But I always knew I was multifaceted. I knew the power of my voice. I knew I was good at graphic design. Shoot, I don't know. I'm like, let's just go to school and see what comes of it. From there, I ended up going to UMSU, which is, 4-year university. And at UMSU, I decided to pursue communication. So let's fast forward. I got to my 3rd year at UMSU, y'all. Mind you, I had 1 year left before I could have walked across that stage with my bachelor's degree. But at that 3rd year mark, I'm like, girl, you ain't did an internship. You ain't took none of this stuff serious. Like, what are we doing? And for those of you who don't know, I come from a family full of entrepreneurs, okay? Like, 85% of my family are running their own business. So me going to college, I ain't gonna lie, it was really to make my family proud, make my grandma proud. My grandma would always say, you need to go to school, But I just wasn't that passionate about going to school, but I was passionate about what I was studying, okay? Feel me? And so throughout my college career, I can honestly say that anytime I gave a public speech, or anytime I gave a presentation, I just had a sense of power, and I felt like I was moving the room whenever I spoke. I always got great grades on public speech and public speak. I can't even talk. How you saying you got good grades in the class and you can't even talk? But I always got good grades on my presentation and like speaking to my classes. So I'm like, you know what? I got a voice here. Okay, so like I said, I was real with myself, and I said, you know what, we need to drop out of school. Now, at that point, I was a hiring manager for Victoria's Secret Pink, and I had just took a lash class, y'all, recently. So I'm like, I got my lash business. If I get my lash business off the ground, I don't even got to go to school, because I felt like you got to be real with yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable. If you ain't did the internship at your third year. Now, shout out to y'all who have. I don't even know. I haven't looked back at college since, but I felt like at that point you should have at least did some type of internship or something. So I said, you know what? I'm over this. And I thought that I was going to disappoint my parents. I remember the day that I called my mom. I was in my grandma's bathroom. I'm like, man, I'm about to disappoint my parents. I don't want to make them, I don't know, sad about me dropping out of school, especially the investment that they made in me. And so with that being said, I called my mom, I cried, and she like, what you crying for? And I'm like, it was that easy? Like, I'm on the phone like, and she like, what you crying for? Almost as if I was crazy. I'm like, dang, she right. It's cool as long as I do something. So at that point, I decided to go to esthetician school. And in that moment, I just dropped the whole idea of studying communication or communication period. I just didn't see that at that moment, right? But I did know that I was gifted in that area. Boom. Start doing lashes, building my business. I took that girl boss route. And when I tell y'all I was on cloud 9, mind you, I'm young, okay? Early 20s, you doing this 6-figure, thing. It's like, I'm getting money. I'm getting to the money. Like, forget school. Like, I'm cool on school, right? So we just gonna pause that right there so you guys can at least know where I'm coming from. Fast forward. So we're gonna fast forward until 2022. I had been outside that year. I ain't gonna lie. I was outside with my friends, doing a lot of kicking it. And that's cool. Like, again, young, having my way. And I had just ended a relationship. And after I ended that relationship, I said, you know what? If I'm being real with myself, or when you think about it, life can add all these layers on us. Relationships, friendships, business things can throw all these layers on us. And eventually you are shaped by your experiences. You are shaped and molded by the things that you have gone through. And so I told myself, you know what? I want to dig deep. I want to shed and remove all these layers that the world has put on me. And I want to take it upon myself to go to therapy. Now, mind y'all, as you know, therapy is not, at the time, I feel like people had just started talking about mental health, going to therapy, all of that. And so me going to therapy was kind of like a foreign thing. I never knew anybody in my family to do it. You know what I'm saying? At the time, none of my friends were doing it. So I'm like, man, I don't know. So I kept asking all of my lash clients, like, who your therapist? Who your therapist? And shout out to my girl, you know who you are, for recommending me my bomb therapist. And when I tell y'all therapy changed my life, if somebody were to ask me, what is your biggest accomplishment to date? I would tell them therapy. Not a following, not a podcast, not a business, not a nothing. Like, nothing tops getting to know yourself. Nothing tops removing all those layers that the world put on you to become the best version of yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, you can't live out your purpose the right way. You probably won't even get to find out what your purpose is if you don't know who you are. So I've been in therapy for 2 years. Now, I obviously, at this point, it's just check-ins because I feel like I've done all the main healing that I needed to do. But man, y'all, once therapy started flowing and I started to truly get to know myself and dig deep, I was like, it's time to find your purpose. It's time to find your purpose. I felt like me going to therapy, that was really God setting me up and preparing me for this moment right now, which is why the title is And Now I Know, because I could have did a podcast when I was in school, maybe. I remember my mom bought me a snow globe. If you a podcaster or you in the field, you know the snow globe is like a little one of these mics, right? Never used it, never opened up the box. And I could have did that then, right? But starting a podcast, I feel like, as y'all know, watching all these podcasts, people don't be healed. People be speaking from a bitter place, an upset place, a place you don't even know no better. You know what I'm saying? You haven't experienced enough. So I feel like now is the perfect time to be launching a podcast, because when you know better, you do better. And I'm going to keep saying it throughout this episode and throughout all episodes. So, y'all, the moment I said, you know what, you need to find your purpose, I remember I was in my bathroom and I was like praying and just thinking, like, I spend a lot of quiet time at home. I don't know if y'all be at home with no sound on, no TV on, but I do that a lot, just so I can hear my thoughts, or really get connected. And I was in the bathroom and I was like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And it just came to me, and it was to inspire people to live life at their fullest potential. Let me say that again. My purpose in life is to inspire others to live life at their fullest potential. Now, 2022, mind you, I'm in therapy. Okay, boom. I find my purpose. Okay, boom. At that point, I had started diving into TikTok, really pushing content creation. I had posted reels here and there on Instagram. And I noticed that my videos had started to go up. And I'm like, okay, this could be something. And so going into 2023, y'all, I said, let me make a vision board. 2023 was the first year, 2023 was the first year I made a vision board. And when I tell y'all, every single thing on that board came into fruition, every single thing, okay? Y'all, let me think of some things I had on there. I had romance. I had a whole bunch of rose petals. I had self-love. I put a vlogging camera because I wanted to start my YouTube. I put fitness. I wanted to get in my best shape or just feel good, look good. I put spirituality. I had a lot of that on there. I really wanted to get connected because as therapy, like I said, started flowing, I found my purpose. I'm like, I got to really dig deep and get connected to God, because how else am I going to navigate this? Because when you tap into your purpose, y'all, if it's if it's your God-given purpose, sometimes you might feel like, how am I going to accomplish this without him? So I knew I needed to tap in. Like I said, I was single at that point. So I was just ready to go into 2023 and conquer the world. Do you understand? Conquer the world. Y'all, mark my words. The beginning of 2023, some of y'all, if you follow me on TikTok, I made a video of me just speaking life into myself and speaking life into the years. 2023, y'all, I'm like, 2023 is going to be one of the best years of my life. 2023, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have this following. Like, y'all, it's just crazy looking back at that video right now. So I'm making this video in the McDonald's drive-thru. I'm declaring and I'm claiming, and I can't even say I'm manifesting, because I really know that 2023 is going to be an amazing year. 2023 is going to be a life-changing in a positive way year. 2023, I will be the end of 2023, I will be, not even the end, 2023, I will be a successful content creator. And when I say successful, I mean I'm touching so many people, millions of people, hundreds, thousands of people. I'm influencing people to really go out and reach their fullest potential. I'm inspiring people to go take care of themselves, self-care. I'm rambling right now, but I know, y'all, this year, mark my words, and I'm going to look back at this video and I'm going to say, wow, you did it. You did it. I'm telling y'all, this is the year. Mark my words. It's January 31st, and I already feel like how much God is going to come in and show me that everything, like, you did the self-work. You got closer to me, so I'm going to reward you. Like, I know this. I keep telling my closest people around me, like, this year is going to be so fucking crazy. I know it. I believe it. I know that I'm deserving of it. I know that I worked hard for it. This is not like a external work hard. This is really an internal work hard. Like, I know it. I believe it. I'm claiming it. My vision board is going to come true. I believe the words that I'm saying. Like, I feel it in my body. Like, it's here. It's coming. I just got to be patient. I got to stay down. Like, I know it. I know it.
And I don't even know how to necessarily like manifest. I guess this is a form of manifesting, but I straight believe this in my soul. I've been believing this since I was a kid. Like, Jayla, you're gonna be somebody. Be patient. Stay down. Be faithful. Treat people good. Keep good people around you. Get them haters up off you. Get them people from around you that you feel like, you know, it's that time. And I'm actually starving. And hopefully, I ain't gonna say I ain't gotta be in the McDonald's line, but let's just hope I don't have to pull up to the McDonald's line to get a meal, and I can just talk to my chef like, hey chef, can you make me something tonight? All right, bye y'all.
Literally,
I gotta pay.
2023 was one of the best years of my life. 2023 was the most transformative year of my life. 2023 was the most pivotal moment of my life because not only I got to know myself, I know my purpose now, my vision board, everything is working for me, y'all. Let me just break down 2023. I'm going to try to cram it in just a few lines. The beginning of 2023, I had a meeting with my therapist, y'all. And I was like, I really want to make a video on TikTok showing people or telling people, or I'm sorry, sharing with people the key things that I learned from therapy in 2022. Y'all, I was so nervous to share with people. I still was uncomfortable with sharing with people that I was in therapy. And I was like, my therapist was like, listen, you can't attach yourself to good feedback or negative feedback. You got to be so confident. And she didn't say the word stand on your business, stand on business. But basically she was saying stand on business about who you are. Okay. Speak your truth, essentially, is what she was saying. I trusted her. I said, okay. And I had therapy that morning. Later that night, I called my little sister. I'm like, sis, watch this video. Watch this video. Y'all, I had this girl watch this video so many times. It's sick. But I was so nervous. Y'all, I recorded a video of the 5 things I learned in 2022 and in therapy. I posted it, y'all, before I went to bed. I woke up, dog. I think it was like 90,000 views or something crazy. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I had never went viral before on the internet. And so the moment that happened, it was just confirmation from God. Now, it was a confirmation that what my therapist said was right. And number 2, it was God reminding me of how powerful my voice is and how powerful or impactful my content could be if I just kept doing this and kept sticking with it, y'all. And man, from that moment on, I said, I'm about to bring my motivation to TikTok. And from TikTok, I brought my motivation to Instagram. Y'all, my Instagram reels was hitting millions of views. My favorite influencers or celebrities were liking my stuff, following me on social media. One of my motivational videos got put on the Shade Room. The Shade Room, okay, y'all, most Shade Room videos is shady, okay? That's what it is, the Shade Room. So for me to be recognized on the Shade Room, bro, for a positive message, y'all, it just really just shook me, man. And then the crazy part about it is, y'all, I just have to insert this little clip about the Shade Room. Y'all, I was on a FaceTime with my little sister maybe a week before that, maybe even 2. Again, it was all a blur. And I was on the Shade Room website. I'm like, I know people be paying to get their stuff on the Shade Room. Let me see how much it costs. So y'all go on the Shade Room website. They make you fill out this information, and then they ask the question, what's your budget? And I'm like, budget? Ain't no budget. You know what I'm saying? And so I just closed out the site. Y'all, why? Like I said, it was 1 or 2 weeks later. Why did somebody, this girl, her name is, shout out to her, China Loveless. Maybe I can insert it. Anyway, y'all, this girl that worked from the Shade Room was like, I love this video. Can you give me permission to share it? And I'm like, what? Bro, y'all, imagine going on a Shade Room website, looking up to see if you can like promote yourself, right? I didn't even know exactly what I was going to promote, but it was probably going to be one of my speaking videos. And bro, to literally, y'all, that was nothing but God. And it was just more confirmation that I was on the right track. Have y'all ever been trying to pursue something and you just needed that validation that you was doing it right, especially from God? But that's how I felt in that moment. Like, yes, like we winning, we own. I'm on cloud 9, y'all. And everything just started to make sense. I'm healing myself. My content is going up. My platforms are growing, and I'm really reaching and out and touching people, y'all. So many people at that time are writing me like, thank you so much for your messages. Thank you so much for all you do. Like, it just was so heartwarming, y'all. Oh my gosh. Like, just thinking back at that moment could bring tears to my eyes for real. And boom, we gonna fast forward some more. If you're from St. Louis, you know. But if not, I gotta get you hip right now. St. Louis, #1 station for hip hop and R&B. Pause. I'm at the gym with my little sister, y'all. So this is the middle of the summer. Mind you, I'm on cloud 9. Videos going viral. Everything is up. Okay. I'm at the gym with my little sister. I refresh my Instagram feed. I see my city's hip hop station, #1 station for hip hop and R&B, is looking for a new co-host. They already had 2 guys on there. I said, they got it. This is my job. Literally instantly, I was like, this is my job. There's no doubt in my mind this is my job. Everything was working. God was showing me that everything was making sense. So I had every reason to believe that this was my job. I mean, that might be cocky to some, but to me, it was just that God confidence. What is it? That Godfidence, And so, pause that thought. I got to do a lot of pausing, y'all, because there's so many details that sometimes you forget. But Shorty, shout out to Shorty, who had already worked on the station, at the station. He had hit me like, hey, we were thinking about having you as a special guest or something along those lines. He DM'd me. And I never was a special guest because soon after, literally that was probably like a couple weeks after, they had announced that they were looking for a new co-host. I'm like, this is my job. I called my mom. I'm like, Ma, why 104.1 looking for a new co-host? This is my job. This is my job. I did an audition video, went through the audition process, and y'all, through that process, when I tell you, it brought out the grizzly bear in me. Like, I don't think I was that hungry for anything since when I started my lash business. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you know when you first open up shop, you hustling, you putting the flyers out, you making Instagram posts, you hungry, so that way you can build your books. And that's how I was behind that radio, y'all. And it just pushed me to become just better, greater. Let me tell y'all, this is so sick. I was straight ordering clothes off Fashion Nova and all my other little spots because I knew I was going to get that job. I'm like, the wintertime coming, you going to need your ball gown. Like, literally, y'all, I literally be that delusional when it comes to my dreams. I start planning sometimes before I even confide in God or talk to God about it. And I have learned that lesson. But y'all, I just was on cloud 9. I was getting great feedback. More of the city was seeing me. I wasn't really an outside girl, so I felt like that platform or that whole audition process, because it lasted a few months, really, I ain't gonna say, I don't know, it just gave me more exposure. It put you, they only selected 8 of us or 7 of us, 7 or 8. And, I took advantage of the opportunity. I kept posting my motivational content. I was working out, trying to get fine. I'm ordering clothes. I'm thinking I'm already getting a job. Like, I just had it set in stone in my mind. And y'all, this is so crazy. I ended up not winning. If you're from St. Louis, but I ended up not getting the job. And I handled it with grace, just like I handle most things with grace, right? But just because you handle things with grace, that don't mean it don't make you feel some type of way. Like, literally, my stomach was hurting. When you find out you don't win, you be like, dang. I have been a girl boss for so long, and anything that I worked hard for or pushed for, I ended up getting. I'm saying that very humbly, right? Like, anything that I put my mind to, I feel like I conquered. So when I didn't get it, it was like, dang, okay. And I also was like, okay, God, you told me, you made me feel like I was walking in the right direction. You told me no. And let's just be real. They always say rejection means redirection from the Lord. But in the moment when you going through it, you be asking the Lord, like, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to do in my life? Because it's not making sense. You got me on the shade room. You got my platforms going up. You preparing me, it seems like. What happened? Okay. So I took some time to myself to try to like dig deep and just, try to reroute because I don't know. I really thought I was gonna win, if I'm just being honest. And then y'all, I gotta tell y'all a whole nother opportunity that presented itself. If you watch my next episode, make sure you come back around for that. You're gonna get more details on what I'm talking about. Y'all, literally from that audition moment until now or recently, it was like God said, I'm going to show you a glimpse, just a glimpse of how good life can get. But now it's time to test your faith. Now it's time to prepare you. Literally, y'all, from the moment they told me no, it was like the Lord had said, put your seatbelt on. I'm going to see how faithful you really are. All that motivation you talking, all that God talk you talking and preaching and pushing out into the world, we going to put that to the test. And I feel like he did it out of love. But in the moment, it feels like, Lord, I can't take no more. Let me tell y'all, the Lord stripped and removed everything out of my way so that way I can get close to him. So when y'all see me posting and talking about God all the time, baby, this is my testimony. Baby, God brought me so far. Let me just break it down to y'all. I got told no at the station, okay? Let me just list out some things. My car, if you know me from St. Louis, or if you don't, if you're just listening right now, I drive a Mercedes. My car was starting to have complications. And if you know, baby, the math don't be mathing when it comes to getting your luxury car fixed. You be like 5,000, 2,000. You know what I'm saying? Something crazy. My car was breaking down. I ain't gonna say breaking down, but I had to get some maintenance done. Some of my lash clients were like, oh, we gonna take a break. We'll be back. And I mean, people did that all the time, but it was like in that season, it was like, hold on, where y'all going? Where y'all going? And so the Lord stripped me of my relationship. Dog, it's almost like a blur. You don't even want to go back and think about everything that's been or has been going on. One of the girls that was working in my shop right now, we filming my shop, ended up leaving. So I'm like, bro, Lord, what you trying to do? And it was so many other things in between that, y'all, that I was facing. And I just felt like, man, I just really felt like God was trying to strip me and remove me and prepare me for this moment right now. And literally, y'all, I was going through it. But guess what? Each and every morning, I kept waking up motivating. I don't want to say motivating y'all, but each day I got up and I said, man, no matter how you feel, you got to get up and you got to show up. You got to stick to the plan. You can't let no throw you all the way off your square. And so the motivation I was giving y'all, that's the motivation I needed for myself. Half the videos that I put out, I really be talking to myself, okay? Listen, Lord, I thank you. It's so crazy, y'all, thinking back. Y'all, no, I can't even get no words out. God is faithful and God is good. And I can't say that enough. Because y'all know how they always say, check on your strong friends. It was so many nights, y'all, where I was straight praying to God on my knees, like, Lord, please don't take nothing else away. When he took my relationship, or when he removed the relationship out of my life, I was like, this is the cherry on top. This is it. And no matter what, y'all, I stayed faithful. I remained faithful. Y'all. And if anybody out there watching this video right now, it might not seem like my problems is that big. It may not seem like, you might look at me and feel like I don't have any. Everybody got problems and things that they dealing with. Let me tell y'all, the Lord is so good. He stayed faithful in moments where I doubted him. He showed me favor in moments where I wanted to give up. He still blessed me in the storm. Every month, I'm like, Lord, please make a way. And he made a way out of no way each and every time. And y'all, I'm so thankful. So when you see me talking different, walking different, when you see me doing all this God talk, it's for a reason. I got a testimony. Don't give up on your dream, because the devil could have attacked my mind and told me, that ain't your purpose. You ain't supposed to use your voice. You ain't supposed to do this. You ain't supposed to do that. And here I am on my podcast, on my own platform. Let me tell y'all, it feels so good. It make you want to cry, because y'all, it was so many battles that I was fighting and facing. And man, Lord, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for the support. Y'all don't know, half of y'all was writing me on Instagram, and the love that y'all was pouring into me, or that y'all was saying I was pouring into y'all was really pouring into me. So I'm so grateful, and I'm so thankful. I knew I should have kept some tissue right here, y'all. Man, whoo, yeah, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful, man. And now I feel like God is pulling the rainbows out in the sky. I feel like He wanted me to come on this podcast and show my testimony. And I feel like if you are going through anything, y'all, I'm not supposed to be crying. Ooh, never give up on your dream. I don't care how hard it get. I don't care how tough it gets. Do not give up on your dream. In this name, and now I know, it just represents, like I said, when you know better, you do better. And now I know God has first, I can't even get it out. And now I know God is so good, even when things don't seem like it. And now I know God has favor over my life. And now I know this is my purpose. And now I know I'm supposed to have my own platform and do this in my own seat, my own chair. And man, oh, hope I don't mess up my makeup. Moral of the story, y'all, if you are out there listening to this video and you are going through a season where you feel like God is not near, just know that He is. If you feel like you are alone, just know that the Lord is always with you. If you feel like you are just going through so much back to back to back, just know it's breakthrough at the end of that tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but a lot of times people don't stay the course. A lot of times people don't make it through because they don't truck through the storm. Baby, when you in the storm, you got to put that seatbelt on, both hands on the steering wheel, and you got to lock in. Don't look in the rearview mirror. Make sure you looking in the windshield. Because ain't nothing back there for you. Ain't nothing good back there. Focus on what's coming, and know that the Lord is not going to lead you astray. Okay? Everything is working for your greater good. Understand me. Understand that. Let me be a living testimony. And I named y'all some things that might seem small, but they were very, very impactful and big to me, especially after hearing that big no. And y'all, like, man, I really, really hope that anybody out there watching this video, I just hope that it shifts your mindset. And I just want you to know that this podcast is going to bring nothing but inspiration, motivation, and like I said, help you navigate the world a little bit better. I'm going to be sharing a lot of my stories. I'm going to be having a lot of guests on the show. I'm super excited for all of my guests. I'm super excited for the future. You know, I feel like I'm just diving into what God has called me to, and I could not be more excited. I could not be more happy about this moment. I'm so thankful for my support system. I'm so thankful for just this opportunity, because everybody don't get the chance to film in their own space. I'm literally in my space. We literally are sitting in the room. Remember, I told y'all that my last person left out the shop. We are in her room right now. And this is not even about her. This is just the fact that when the Lord removes, He always replaces, triple, double. Y'all, the Lord was, I ain't gonna say attacking me because you feel like the Lord is attacking you. He's not. But the Lord had me so deep in my storm, I had to read the book of Job. Okay, let me just be honest, disclaimer. I had not read a full book of the Bible since I was in private school, which was in middle school. Okay. So He really was taking me up and down through there. But the thing is, when I read the book of Job, Job was hit with so many obstacles. But at the end, God knew, or not at the end, but God knew that he can make it through the storm because his faith was so strong. And at the end of that book, the Lord blessed him, his grandchildren, his children's children. Okay. He literally will fill your cup when you feel like it's empty. But when your cup is empty, or when everything is pouring out, he pouring out the bad, the ugly, the negative, the friendships, the relationships, the things that are not supposed to go with you to the next level. And I feel like I'm entering a new level. I found this post that said I'm in my rebirth era, and that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I'm so confident. I'm standing on business about myself. I'm still learning more about myself each day, but I'm a confident, strong, God-fearing woman, and I'm a representation of what it looked like to push through. Okay, I'm a representation for young black girls or black women or even black men, because this show is not just for one gender. Listen, y'all, this show, I'm talking about this show, because eventually it'll probably be show. You never know. I could be the next Oprah, or really the next Big 32. But y'all, I'm in awe. I keep repeating myself because it's like, wow, we're here. Lights, camera, action. And we doing it. And I feel like I'm not all the way out. I'm doing a series right now called, I don't know how many days into my breakthrough. And I feel like this is it. This is like me walking into it. So I'm excited to see what the Lord has for me. Like I said, the And Now I Know podcast is just going to be me talking about all of what I've experienced, what I know now, what I've learned based off life experiences. Maybe that's through relationship, through business. I'm going to have a bunch of creatives on my show because I am, like I said, a multifaceted person. So I want you guys to take a piece of motivation and inspiration from each episode, but each episode is going to be a little different. But I got a little bit of I have something for everybody. And I believe that everybody has a testimony or a story or some inspiration to give the world, whether they believe it or not. Everybody got a story to tell. And when you sit on my chair and my couch, we gonna make sure we get your story and we tell your story the right way. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. On my vision board for 2024, I put community. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. And now I know that community is probably going to be y'all. And let me just be transparent right now before we dive too deep or get, into the other episodes. This walk that I'm on is not an easy one. So I don't want people to look up to me. I want people to look at me because I am human. I mention God. I talk about me being a God-fearing woman. I talk about my spirituality all the time, my connection. But don't look at me like I'm supposed to be, coaching and guiding. I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect, which is why I'm saying, look at me. Don't look up to me. A lot of people tell me, oh my God, I'm so inspired by you. And I do feel like we can be inspired by people, but just know that clearly I'm going through stuff too. We are going through stuff. So don't expect my podcast to be perfect. Don't expect me to be, I don't know. Y'all know how y'all get and how the internet gets, and that's not important, but I do got to put that disclaimer. This podcast is not for the Judge Judies or the Judge Joe Brown. So if you feel like you a Judge Judy and you looking at my podcast like, she said she was God-fearing, but she talk about this. She said she was this, but look at all that. You know how people like to tussle. Keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about mine. Okay? Like my girl Erykah Badu says. So just know that I'm super excited for this moment. And like I said, I believe that this platform is going to help grow a community of people who need other people like them, need other people or need to see other people that are chasing their dreams, that are reaching for the stars, and that are God-fearing. So stick around. Because I don't even know what God about to do. We just getting started. And I'm so thankful for y'all time and for y'all tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Shout out to all my supporters. I would not be here without y'all, right? And so I also got to send a special shout out to my mama, because y'all wouldn't even be listening to me right now if it wasn't for her. One of the things that he blessed me with in this season was a supportive mother. And that is so, so, so important, to have somebody believing in your dreams and pushing you on days where you feel like you cannot. And my mother has never left my side. So, Mama, I love you. I thank you. And I can't wait to buy the block for you or whatever. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love all my support system. Like I'm so grateful, y'all. This is such a humbling and I don't know, it just give you good goosebumps. So make sure you check out and get ready for my next episode because it's gonna only get greater from here. And just know that also I'm growing. Like this is the first time me ever doing a podcast, so I'm learning new stuff every time I film. So yes, thank y'all so much. I'm so excited. Ah, what Sexy Red say? Make some noise, y'all. What the?